with a win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their Fantasy Pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome to the Sports Betting Show. This is the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com, and this is the NFL Divisional Playoffs edition. We got some special guests on today. We got the legendary Tony Bruno. Tony, what's going on, brother?
Beautiful. It's beautiful. 64 degrees down here in Cape Coral, Florida on a Thursday night. So people have been asking for me to send you a couple. I can send you like 15 degrees. That's the most, because if it gets under 50 here, people go crazy, man. I have to put my coat on.
Yeah, next up, my main man, Danny B from DB Wins. Danny B and Culo. What's up, brother?
How you doing, man? I hope you can hear me. I'm having a hard time hearing you, but I read your thoughts. I wore this hat for everybody today, because most people will remember this hat more than my picks. How about that?
Burn it. Oh, man, they killed us. Dak Prescott. They killed us. We got the usual suspects, the 8-ball.
I thought Rooster left the show. What's he doing here with
We got Jimmy Batista, Barry the right number. Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. Make sure you check him out at Maltepes Report. But let's get down to business, man. It's going to be a great weekend. There's a bunch of games to bet on. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about who's going to win the AFC Conference. As of right now, the Ravens are plus 115. The Bills are plus 235. The Chiefs are at plus 320. And the Texans are at plus 1,100. You can get 11-1 on them. Let me go to 8-ball first. 8-ball, if you had to make that bet right now at these prices, who would you pick to win the AFC Conference?
Right now, the team I have the most trust in is the Baltimore Ravens. They've been elite on both sides of the football. Lamar's playing at an MVP level. They've got they're versing a rookie quarterback this week. He's been electric, but going against that defense for the first time, it's going to be tough. They've got home field advantage right now, so I think the AFC runs through Baltimore.
Tony Bruno, if you had to pick a team right now at those prices, who do you like?
Well, certainly, I agree about the Ravens, but, they're saying Mark Andrews is still not 100%, and the Ravens haven't played. And I know you look at the numbers from the teams who got the first-round bye and their numbers overall, but the Texans are a pesky team. But I think in Baltimore – the line went up to 9.5. I have it late on the Hard Rock app. It was 9. It's up to 9.5, minus 110. The over-under sticks at 43.5. I don't think weather's going to be a factor, although you guys are getting weather up there. But that's the first game on Saturday at 4:30 in the afternoon. So I don't know what the weather is. It's outdoors. What are you guys hearing? Because I know in Buffalo they got a storm yesterday, but they should have that cleared out by Sunday night, because that's the last game of the weekend, and Sunday at 6:30.
Yeah, they're saying 3 to 5 inches, so that could hurt C.J. Stroud more than the Ravens. Ravens got some great running backs. Lamar can run the ball. Could be a dangerous game for this Texans team coming in as 9.5-point underdogs. Let me go to Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. Matt, at those prices, who do you like?
I gotta like the Baltimore Ravens, just like the 8-ball. They're the most complete team. We've seen them all year against the top competition. Against San Francisco, they beat them. They crushed Miami. Among some other teams, they've proven to be the top goal. To be king, you got to take out the king, right? Right now, they're on top.
Danny B from DB Wins. If you had to pick a team right now, which one would it be?
Well, I'm going with Buffalo. I like what I see with them, the nice turnaround. I know they got to get by Kansas City. Kansas City hasn't impressed me this year. What's their record? They both have an 11-6 record. going into the postseason. I like Buffalo right now. I think they can actually win it all. I like Baltimore to advance to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to get ahead of my NFC pick, but I like the number. Of course, weather can factor in. It will factor in. But at 235 you're offering right now, give me the Bills.
Yeah, they've been red hot. They've won 7 of the last 8, and it took a 60-yard field goal by Elliott in the rain to lose to the Eagles, put that game in overtime. Jimmy. It sounds like Rooster's still on the show here with the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you like this week?
You know, I'm a dog. I'm a live dog, and I'm going to take C.J. Stroud.
We're talking about winning the AFC Conference.
I love the dog.
Wait. We're talking about winning the AFC Conference. You got the Ravens plus 1.
I'm going to Buffalo.
You like Buffalo plus 235? What, did Rooster get to you?
Bills. Buffalo Bills.
He's looks like he's got a bad connection there, but it's all right.
What's that? No, he didn't. But I have to give him listen, I miss Wooster. Oh, where is Wooster? But I mean, I like the Bills. I think they're Lamar has not won anything in the playoffs. And if you can tell me where he's had a great playoff game, where I'll take Josh Allen any day of the week and twice on Sunday against them.
You're not worried about all the injuries they have on the defensive side of the ball this week. They lost another starting cornerback at Pittsburgh last week. This defense is depleted. Their health score, Kansas City has a plus 10 SIC health score, better than
Godfather
this week.
One word. Josh Allen. I'll
That's
take
2 words.
Over Lamar Jackson.
2 words.
Sorry. I'm in love with
Oh, man.
You notice you just can't say Josh because, when you say Josh, like, when you say LeBron, when you say
Lamar,
you know who they are, Jalen. But when you say Josh, who could be? It could be Josh Groban for all you know. You know what I mean?
Hey, Josh is going to run over some Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night. Again, the weather's going to be bad. I'm expecting. What are they expecting up there, Steve?
It's going to be
snow white.
As cold as the previous 2 games that both teams play that. But everyone hold their thought. As I want everyone to check out UnderdogFantasy.com. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. They're one of our sponsors on the show. Great website. If you sign up now, they'll match your deposit up to $100 at UnderdogFantasy.com. So make sure you check them out. But yeah, I mean, we got 10 seconds left in the first segment. Tone, you see the Bills beating the Chiefs this week, real quick?
Well, the line just went down to 2.5. I saw it. It's been hanging at 3, so it's minus 2.5. Buffalo at home, Kansas City on the road. An unfamiliar spot for the Chiefs. So that's going to be, to me, the
Tone, hold that thought. Hold that thought, and we'll be right back. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheOceanAC.com.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from TheEight8all.com, and this is the NFL edition. We were just talking to the legendary Tony Bruno about this Chiefs-Bills game, and Tone, who do you think's going to cover the spread here? I mean, it went up to 3. As soon as it hit 3 in the market, those 3s disappeared quickly. It's back to 2.5. What do you like?
I talked to Steve Tasker, the legendary Buffalo Bills player. He lives there. He works for the Bills. And, we were talking about the weather. They had a big snowstorm yesterday, lake effect. That happens all the time. The stadium's going to be fine for Sunday night for that final game. They know how to get it out of there. The problem is getting people in from the neighborhoods. They were using people in the neighborhood to shovel all the stuff out. So I don't think weather's going to be a factor. More snow is not predicted. So I think you saw that game the other night. The conditions were okay to play. I think we're going to see a similar game there if the winds kick up. But I like the Bills here too. I agree with my man who says the Buffalo Bills. Because to me, if the Chiefs lose, is it devastating to the Chiefs fans? It is. But I think the Buffalo Bills have the most pressure now. They're like the Cowboys. They have something to prove here. And if they win this game and get to the championship game, then all bets are off. So I like Buffalo. I think they're going to find a way to win this game. And Josh Allen right now playing better than anybody. He's a single-man difference maker of all the quarterbacks left in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Cook at running back has made such a big difference for that team. Before they couldn't run the ball. Now they can run the ball and hold on to leads late in the fourth quarter. If you look at the passing props, Tone, you got Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdowns, Mahomes over 1.5 touchdowns as well. But then the passing yards, they got Allen at 227.5 and Mahomes at 253.5. Would you go over an Allen passing yards or under?
I don't know. I know you guys like the under. I've been following you, the Philly Godfather, on social media. I know the I think the 8 ball has the under in that game as well, right? No, that's the box. You guys like, and you like the Bills under 46, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about passing yards. You think Josh Allen?
I think Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen will be able to throw the ball. Let's be honest. I mean, the Chiefs are playing good defense. Chiefs' defense has been really good this year, but I think Josh Allen knows how to move around. He may throw an interception, but he can make plays with his feet, he can throw the ball to guys. I mean, he knows how to get guys open and hit them. I'm telling you right now, but to me, I know Lamar Jackson's great, but Lamar Jackson hasn't done anything yet, and he hasn't played in a couple of weeks. Nobody's hotter right now than Josh Allen.
All right, let's switch over to the NFC side. Let's see who's going to win the NFC conference. As of right now, if you want to bet the 49ers, you got to lay almost 2-1. It's minus 185. You can get the Lions at plus 330. Buccaneers at plus 950, and the Packers are very intriguing here at plus 950. They're playing some great football down the stretch. They dismantled the Dallas Cowboys. Let me go to 8 ball first. 8 ball, if you had to pick one of those NFC teams right now, those prices, who would it be?
It's the obvious team to me. It's the Niners. They're healthy. They've been the best team in football for the majority of the year, both sides of the football, offense, defense. Purdy was an MVP candidate. McCaffrey's an MVP candidate. I think with the Cowboys and the Eagles gone, they smell blood, and all these teams are inferior to them.
Matt Maltepes, the college kids, do you agree with 8 ball?
So obviously they are the team to beat, and I do agree with 8 ball. I mean, the 49ers, just like the Ravens, a lot of these good teams, like the Cowboys, they got eliminated early. And now, usually as the playoffs go along, cream of the crop rises. I think that's what's going to happen here. But if you're looking for a long shot, out of all those 4 teams, I think the Packers are the best shot. I mean, they have a top 10 team in sack percentage, and they have a QB that's hot. And they did just take out the Dallas Cowboys, very talented Dallas Cowboys team. So if you're looking for a long shot, the Packers, but honestly, I can't see anyone beating the 49ers.
Yeah, and their offensive line was banged up early in the season, and now they're healthy. And you see the difference in Jordan Love, the way he's passed the ball, the way they're running the ball with a healthy offensive line. So, yeah, they're a little dangerous there. Let me go to Jimmy Batista. Jimmy, if you had to pick one of those teams right now to win the NFC conference, who would you pick?
I have no choice but to pick the 49ers, most talented team out there in the NFC. But who am I rooting for? Baker Mayfield.
Shake and bake, baby.
Shake and bake, Wooster.
Danny B from DB wins. If you had to pick one of those teams right now at those prices, who would it be?
Well, I like Green Bay to cover, but I like San Francisco to advance and play the Bills in the Super Bowl. And, if that happens, I think the Bills finally get a Super Bowl ring. I got to be friendly with Andre Reed, a local guy around here. His brother Dion coached my son in baseball. I don't like him. I don't like Andre. Andre's a dick now for nothing. Excuse my French, but I think that Buffalo gets a ring this year. With the 4 in a row, I mean, they took them down twice. I think that's the last time they've done anything nice. Actually, people are afraid of this hat. Some guys are knocking on my door a little bit ago, and I open it up. They see the cowboy hat, and they ran. They were trying to get me to go to church. Somebody knocking on my door. They saw the cowboy hat, and they said, "There's no helping this guy." They ran like hell.
You like San Fran to advance? Is that what you're saying?
I like San Francisco minus the 185, but I like Green Bay to cover that game, plus the 9.5. But Green Bay can shock them, but I do like San Francisco. How can you not?
Yeah, we'll break that down a little later in the show. Let me go to 8-ball. 8-ball. If you had to pick one underdog to win outright this week, you got the Texans plus 9.5 at Baltimore, Packers plus 9.5 at San Fran, Tampa Bay plus 7 or 6.5 at Detroit, and the Chiefs plus 3 or 2.5 at Buffalo. Which one would it be?
Shake and bake. This Bucks team, they're hot right now. Baker's playing good football.
Yeah, baby.
They have 2 elite receivers, and the Lions secondary is ranked opponents' yards per play. So I think they can, get some shots downfield. Baker's been very accurate this year. The defense is playing well. I think they have a chance to cover this game and win outright.
Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. Who do you like to win outright this week as a dog?
When I look at the Houston-Baltimore game, I look at Baltimore as a team to beat, and I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl. Same thing with the San Fran Green Bay game, right? So that takes me to the next game, KC Buffalo. I like Buffalo, as you guys were talking about earlier, but so that leaves me with one game. I think Tampa Bay, out of all the dogs, just like 8-ball said, they have the best shot at winning because they play smart football. Baker does not turn over the ball. They're one of the best teams, top 5, top 10, and not thrown, right? So they don't throw interceptions. And if you win the turnover battle, you can win the game. So as a big dog, Tampa Bay has some, potential.
Tony Bruno, Texans plus 9.5. Packers are 9.5. Tampa Bay 6.5 or 7. Chiefs plus 3. But if you had to pick an underdog to win outright, which one would it be?
Well, the Chiefs are obviously a live dog in play, and that's only a field goal game, and that's a possibility depending on what happens. But I agree as far as the Buccaneers are concerned. Listen, Detroit's a great team. They've had a great season. Their fans are excited. Tampa, but they can't have drops. Remember, the other time when they beat the Eagles, they had a couple of really bad drops. If you drop wide open touchdowns, you're not going to win that game. So if they, how many balls did Baker Mayfield throw that guys just literally dropped touchdown passes? And they still scored, 31 points. So if they can score if they don't have a lot of drops, they're really live and they have a chance to win that game in Detroit, even though the weather's going to be cold outside, as one local reporter in Tampa Bay was concerned about the temperature, even though they play in a dome.
What scares me a little bit is they won the game 32-9, and the Eagles didn't turn the ball over. And that's how bad that Eagles team is. And, they look like, Super Bowl contenders all of a sudden, and everyone still thinks that Eagles team was a good team. And now there might be a little bit letdown this week. But let me go to Danny B. Out of those 4 teams I just mentioned, which team do you think has the best chance to win outright?
Baker and the Bucks. I like what I see. I always liked Baker. I know he didn't get off to a great start, but, and you made a great point. A lot of drop catches last week, and they still dominated. The Eagles were flat. Without Brown in that lineup, they didn't stand a chance. I like Tampa Bay. I think they can win the game outright. I like 3. I'll save that, but I like Tampa Bay in this one.
It seems like everyone likes Tampa Bay here. Tony kind of likes the Chiefs. I kind of like the Chiefs to win the game outright, only because Buffalo's so banged up. I know everyone, is expecting Josh Allen to have a big game, but when you're missing that many defensive players and you got a -10 SIC score, health score, it's hard, man. And let's be honest, the Chiefs, other than Baltimore's defense, the Chiefs have the second best defense in the entire NFL, and they got the number 1 sack percentage on the year. So this is the team. Everyone's talking about how bad their offense was this season, and that may be true, but this team has one of the best defenses in the entire league. And when you keep getting pressure on Josh Allen, you're going to cause him to make some mistakes. And you know what happens when you make mistakes? You turn the ball over, and that's the biggest impact on who wins the ball game here, whoever wins the turnover differential. But stay tuned. We'll be right back with more NFL action.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheOceanAC.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, Trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com, and this is your NFL Playoff Edition. Next up is one of my favorite guests, Pro Football Doc from SICScore.com. He brings out us some of the most valuable information you get from a week-to-week basis on which team's more banged up, which team is more healthier, and they've been killing it. They went 3-0 last week in their 5-star injury picks, and they've been killing it all season. Doc, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And yet last week we had some good injury advantages. This week, guess what? Every week injured teams get knocked out. We got to search finer for finer point advantages here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's start with the first game on the board. Houston at Baltimore. Which team is the more injured team, and which injuries will impact the game the most in this matchup?
Well, their overall scores are about the same. On Baltimore is number one. I do not believe Mark Andrews will play. Don't be fooled by 2 full practices. The definition of full practice is they did everything we asked them to do. That does not mean 100%. And I still think he probably will not play. Our 6 score on Mark Andrews is still at 46, which is under 50-50 playing. And if he does play, he's more like Sam Laporta last week, 3 catches, 14 yards. He did get a touchdown than he is Mark Andrews. And, of course, Marlon Humphrey with the calf is key, is unlikely to play. Kyle Hamilton with the knee should play safety, key safety for the Ravens. But those are some of the Ravens' injuries. Houston, Jerry Hughes is a no-go, but Will Anderson's back. The D-line is healthier. They are going to miss 2 wide receivers, Noah Brown. And so it's Nico Collins and, of course, Robert Woods as targets for C.J. Stroud.
Since you brought up Laporta and his injury, and I didn't expect him to play last week, and do you think he plays more efficiently this week with the injury that he had? Do you think he gets much healthier a lot quicker this week in this matchup against Tampa Bay?
I'm with you. I didn't expect him to play last week either. But the analogy that we made on your show and so forth is this is if he does play, he's more C.J. Uzomah in that Bengals Super Bowl, 2 catches, 10 yards. Now, he got a 1-yard touchdown, so you got to give him that, right? And that helped Detroit. Good for them. But he wasn't himself. I mean, he was near the line of scrimmage. That's it, not downfield. He'll be better this week, but no way he's 100%. We still don't think Khalif Raymond is going to play with his PCL. Jameson will be better from the high ankle sprain that he had. And, so Detroit still has some issues there. Tampa Bay is among the healthier teams left, although the margins are less now because the least healthy teams have been eliminated. Our picks last week of Miami being really bad with the linebackers, they were eliminated, right? And then you go to Cleveland being injured, they were eliminated. And, of course, the Eagles being injured, they were eliminated. We also took the Rams plus number, right? The Rams, and they covered with the points with the 1-point win. But that's it. Things get tighter. That's what happens as teams go on. They're healthier, but there still are some advantages here.
Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. You got a question for Doc?
Yeah, Doc, I do have a question. I want to ask you about injuries in the cold. What kind of injuries are more likely to happen now that we're in the playoffs and it's getting cold in these areas like Baltimore, Buffalo? Are there any players with specific injuries that are more likely to aggravate, such as maybe a hamstring or whatever the case is?
Yeah, you're right about that. But let me point out, since we just talked about Detroit, Detroit will be okay in Tampa Bay, and Detroit, they'll be okay indoors there. Little humor there. Helmets, maybe not so good. Patrick Mahomes' helmet, right? I mean, we talked about some of the ways to deal with the cold. I had never seen a, quote, helmet equipment failure like that before. that was akin to Zion Williamson's shoe blowout, right? Like, never seen that before. I have seen Fred McCrary, our Chargers fullback's helmet, with a 2-centimeter linear crack from going up against Junior Seau in training camp head to head. But a helmet shattered like that. Obviously, that had something to do with the cold. And, the same things, if they're outdoors in the cold, the Vaseline, the chicken broth, the heaters on the sidelines, etc., similar things we talked about. But yes, muscle injuries are harder to deal with to get warm in the cold. Look, when you take the water bottle or the beer out of the refrigerator and it freezes, but it stays liquid in the refrigerator, that's telling you all you need to know.
Tony Bruno, you got any questions for Pro Football Doc here?
Well, Doc, you did mention that there's only one game that's indoors. 8 teams are playing and 2 will be inside. And obviously the Buccaneers will play outside normally, but the Lions, how much of an advantage is it? Because as everybody loves the Bucs as a live dog, but is there an advantage? Because, there's really not a lot of pressure on them. They're not the team that has to win. Their fans are happy. What about that equation? Talking about the injuries, plus the fact that the Lions are inside and the fans are really, really happy to be there.
No, the fans are happy to be there, and Detroit is slightly the more injured side there, not by a ton. And look, it is an advantage, I think, for the Lions to be indoors at home. They got a great crowd. But I would argue this, as much as Tampa Bay is playing with house money right now, isn't Detroit playing with house money? I mean, they want their big playoff game. They got their stuff. People want them to win in Detroit, but there was so much effort on that first game. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when it plays out. But Detroit is built for that indoor dome, and they do better there, no question about it.
Yeah, they got so much speed on that offense. I mean, they're ranked top 5 in yards per play metric, and that's always a problem playing them in Detroit. Let's go to the next game, Doc. You got the Packers at San Fran. Which is the more healthier team? How's McCaffrey doing? And which injuries will impact this game the most?
McCaffrey's fine. No issues on Christian McCaffrey with the calf. The 3-week break really helps him. Believe it or not, overall, the Packers are slightly the healthier team. They have fewer injuries than San Francisco, and it's San Francisco's defense. They've got a couple of defensive linemen returning, but some still not quite 100% right up the middle there. And, of course, some corner issues there, but also, Hufunga's been out for a little while. So a slight edge to Green Bay purely on injuries. I'm not saying Bryce Young is going to, or Jordan Love is going to win the game, et cetera. But, you got to make your handicapping. They are a little bit the healthier side. And it's the age-old rest versus rust, right, in terms of what San Francisco does with their team.
All right. Last but not least, Mahomes has to go on the road for the first time in his playoff career up to Buffalo. I know which team's the healthier team, but if you want to let everyone know, who's the healthier team in this matchup, and there's a big discrepancy, right?
Well, there is a big discrepancy here. And last week we said KC was our best one, and that Miami had all these linebacker issues where they're signing 34-year-old linebackers, et cetera. And you saw it with Kelsey and Pacheco and their ability to dominate a little bit. It wasn't the offensive Dolphin injuries. It was the defensive Dolphin injuries. I don't think it's to that extent this week, but KC gets the better of it again. Donovan Smith probably will play. They're missing the one Brian Cook free safety, but otherwise it's the injuries favor the Chiefs. No Gabe Davis, which is fine, but all 3 of the linebackers have something. Matt Milano is obviously lost for the year. Bernard carted off with an air cast, seems unlikely to play. The third guy has a soft tissue injury. And you could argue the top 3 corners have something. Tre'Davious White has already been out for the year, and Rasul Douglas is unlikely to play. And the third corner is coming back, trending in the right direction, but not there from concussion yet either. So if you go by Delta and injuries, and that's all we're saying, the healthier side is the Chiefs again, although it isn't as big a discrepancy as it was against the Dolphins.
I got you. Jim, you got any questions before we let Doc go?
Nah, he answered everything, all the injuries I need to hear. Thank you again, Doc.
All right, Doc, if you want to let everyone know where to find you and your great website that helps so many people out.
Sports Injury Central, SICScore.com, and they still got the guaranteed picks that, code word Godfather. But I'll be the first to admit, last week we did the 3 5-star picks. We also did the Rams. I will admit the failings are failings. we thought Dallas was a little bit healthier. Thank God it was a lean and we didn't take it, because that would have been terrible. But there was also a lean towards Buffalo, and we didn't take that either, right? We just didn't think there was enough of an injury difference to make a difference. But I would have been hating myself if we would have made the Dallas pick. We're like, it's a lean, but it's not hard. Let's stick with the ones that we're comfortable with.
He's been talking to Rooster. I knew it already.
Thanks for coming on, Doc, man. You give out some great information. Make sure you check him out on Twitter at Pro Football Doc and SICSport.com at his website. All right, Joe, you want to bring 8-Ball back on?
The 8-Ball back in there, man. I need a ladder. I need a ladder for tonight. I know we're talking about the weekend. I need a ladder. I need some help.
What's the ladder pick for tonight, 8-Ball?
I took the Kings -7. I think they're at 8 now.
He's moving the market, Tone. He's moving the market.
Does.
That's what he does. All right, let's switch it up a little bit. All right. You can bet the Super Bowl MVP right now. Right now, I don't suggest you do that, but, as of right now, Lamar Jackson is a plus 310. He's the favorite at plus 310. Brock Purdy's at plus 380. Josh Allen at 550. McCaffrey's at 600, which intrigues me a little bit. Mahomes at 800. Goff at 12-1. C.J. Stroud at 30-1. Shake and Bake at 30-1. Nicky Bosa 40-1. Kittle 40-1. 8-Ball. I know you're not going to make the bet, but if you had to make that bet right now, who would you take?
I like Deebo Samuel at 30-1. He's so important to this offense, and if they go against who I think they're going to go against, the Ravens, it's going to be tough to run on that team. I don't think McCaffrey is going to get much production. You're going to see Deebo Samuel in the running game. You're going to see him in the passing game, screen passes. I think they're going to devise a game plan for him, so I can see him scoring a couple touchdowns and getting that.
All right, Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. We got about 30 seconds left in this segment. Who would you pick if you had to pick one of them?
So right now I'm looking at the Super Bowl MVP odds, and what I notice is 9 or 10 of the last 14, I believe, Super Bowl MVPs have been quarterbacks. With that being said, I'm looking at all the quarterbacks, and I think Mahomes at plus 800, 8-1, incredible value. You're looking at Lamar Jackson, history of not showing up. Josh Allen, he might just lose this week. And Brock Purdy.
Whoa.
And Mahomes.
10 seconds, Jimmy. Don't mess him up.
Real quick. Mahomes, he has a great defensive line on the other side that's helping him. So all he has to do is take care of the ball. So I think Mahomes, 8-1.
All right, thanks, Matt. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more legendary action.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheEight8all.com.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the sports betting show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. This is the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com, and you're listening to us on Sirius XM, channel 159, and you're watching us live on my Twitter account at Philly Godfather. You're also watching us on JAKIB Sports on YouTube and Sports Grid TV. And we're talking right now about Super Bowl MVP odds if you had to make that decision today. Let me go back to Matt. Matt, you talked about how Patrick Mahomes, you think at 8-1 is a pretty solid bet.
Yeah, I think it's a solid bet. I mean, this is the golden child of the NFL now, right? Patty Mahomes. We have all the hype on the Chiefs and everything with Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. But look at Mahomes. All he has to do is take care of the ball. When it comes to sack percentage on the O-line, he hasn't been getting sacked this year, so O-line's been performing well. On the defensive side, he has a great defensive line. They're number 1 in sack percentage on that side as well. So all Mahomes has to do is take care of the ball, and they might just actually go to the Super Bowl. And if they get to the Super Bowl, all the quarterbacks, 9 or 10 of the last 14 Super Bowl MVPs have been quarterbacks. He's the one with the best value to me at 8-1.
That's a great price. Tony Bruno, if you had to pick an MVP right now for the Super Bowl, which one would it be?
I mean, I agree with Matt. I mean, if he gets in, everybody's going to be on him, and that number is going to go way down. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Josh Allen. I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on him. He's got to beat the Chiefs first. If he beats the Chiefs and goes to the AFC Championship game, this guy has a lot to prove. The Bills have a lot to prove. So this is their chance to go in and finally get into a Super Bowl and find a way to win it. So that's why I'm going to go Josh Allen. I think he carries his team. He finds a way to beat the Chiefs at home, and then he goes to the championship game. And then we'll see what happens against either Baltimore or the Texans. But Baltimore, it's going to be Baltimore and the Bills to me. If you're looking at a future, which two teams are going to be in the AFC Championship game, those are my two picks. I know they're chalk, but there's still some tough competition ahead of them.
Danny B from DB Wins, if you had to pick an MVP from the Super Bowl right now, which one would it be?
I'm going with Tony from Cape Coral. I like Allen at plus what, 5-1 you said and change?
550 to 1. Yeah.
The guy's a beast. I mean, he runs over people. He's smart. He's strong. I know, like you said, they're banged up on the defense, but I think he's going to run over a lot of Chiefs. I think he's going to have himself a field day, and I had said earlier they're going to win the Super Bowl, so there's my pick for the MVP, Josh Allen. I like him.
Me personally, I'm going with the long shot. He was the second best quarterback in the NFL this season. Jared Goff at 12-1. The Packers are going to upset the 49ers this week. They're going to get them in the championship game at Brush Street in Detroit. And the Lions are going to the Super Bowl against the Ravens. And I'm going to take a long shot here. Jared Goff at 12-1. I think offers some value. He's got the second best numbers of any quarterback in the league this year. And I'm going to nibble a little bit. Let me go to Jimmy. Jimmy, if you had to pick a Super Bowl MVP right now, Lamar Jackson plus 310, Brock Purdy plus 380, Josh Allen plus 550, McCaffrey 6-1, Mahomes 8-1, Goff 12-1, Stroud at 30-1. Who would it be? And Mayfield's at 30-1.
First choice is Josh Allen plus 550, and then my launch. I love Josh Allen. It's his year. The only thing that scares me on this weekend's game is Hockley is one of the referees. And he does in his last 10 games, he's been given more favorable calls to the Chiefs than he has any other team.
Wait a second. Wait. Are you telling me you're a referee specialist?
I didn't say that. I just said that I do follow. I've been known to follow the notes on referees for whatever reason.
Referees, everything, right?
Right. So I do like Josh Allen at plus 550, and then my long shot is shake and bake, baby. I'm with the Wooster, Baker Mayfield. I'll take that 30-1. That kid's got cojones, man. He wants to play. Don't disrespect the guy. In his last 7 games, he's 6-7. He's, not lighting the board up, but he's playing mistake-free football, and that's what wins championships.
He played a lot better than Jalen Hurts this season, and you saw what he did during the playoffs. And even though the Eagles were, collapsing down the stretch, they did go 6-2 against playoff teams this season during the regular season. But that team had a lot of issues in the locker room, and I don't know.
Here's the problem. He's not the sexy part. He's not. Listen.
He's not
it's
a good
not
season.
It's not what ESPN wants to put out there. He's not the sexy sell on a show. Who the heck wants to talk about Baker Mayfield? Last year at this time, he was on the D line for in practice squad for the Carolina Panthers. A year later, he's in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he's healthy, and the team's healthy. Like Doc said, Pro Football Doc, Tampa is one of the healthier teams, and their defense is looking great. They were running right through that Eagles offensive line like butter, and that's what shocked me the most. They were just going right into him, and the Eagles didn't have an answer for that. They couldn't stop him. All right, let's break down some games. This is segment 4. Let me go to 8-ball first. 8-ball, Houston at Baltimore, 9.5 and 43.5. Do you like a side or a total in this matchup?
I like the Ravens in this one. I didn't bet this game yet, but I lean Ravens minus the 9.5. I think this team's just head and shoulders better than the Texans on both sides of the football, both lines. And you have a rookie quarterback in the championship game, so I think Baltimore's going to win the turnover battle here. They'll be able to run the football and cover the 9.5.
All right, Matt Maltepes from the College Kids. Who do you like in that matchup, Houston against Baltimore?
Yeah, I agree with the 8-ball. Couldn't agree more. I think Baltimore heads and shoulders above this team. Houston got a lucky break with Cleveland. Obviously, C.J. Stroud's been playing amazing all year, but I think that comes to an end this week when he versus Lamar Jackson, who's been playing at an MVP level just as much as C.J. Stroud has. And I think Baltimore is the better team on the O-line, D-line, and I think they're better overall.
Tony Bruno, who do you like in that matchup, brother?
Well, Baltimore has a lot to prove. I mean, we talk about their quarterback all the time. Is he going to make that next step? Texas, to me, their coach is the coach of the year. They've got the best future. They're the best team in Texas. Forget the Cowboys. It'll be the Houston Texans for the next decade, dominating in the state of Texas. But Baltimore wins. I don't know about the number, though. I may nibble and tease that and take the Texans with some points, because when they're home and the weather's not great, both teams have to play in it. But I think the Houston Texans will be loosey-goosey, and the pressure is going to be on the Baltimore Ravens to not just win, but to try to win convincingly. So I'm going to take Texans and tease them. How many points should I get? Should I tease it up or down? Should I tease the Ravens?
Well, you can tease Baltimore down to 2.5 if you're looking at 9.5 on the 7-point teaser. But if you find a 10, you can tease the Texans up to plus 17, which is a monster number. Depending on the weather, if they get 3 to 5 inches and the wind picks up, I always tell people in bad weather games, the dog's always live. So 17 points in a bad weather game might not be a bad idea.
That's what I'm going to do. So write it down right now and tattoo it on your wrist so you don't forget.
Danny B from DV Wins, one of my good friends for the last 20 years. Danny, who do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, too much meat on the bones. Obviously, too much meat on the bone. I like Baltimore, obviously the better team, but I think I sense a backdoor cover. Houston's playing well. I mean, 10-7 ain't exactly a great record, but the CJ, he's done well. I like him, and I don't know about Lamar off the bye week. Some say it's good, some say it's bad. I wish Doc was here to confirm that, and I wish Doc was here. I want to ask him about your cough. I forgot to ask him about that. And I do agree with him about the cold weather, too. For example, I had a bong in my garage. I went out there today. The glass broke all over the place. So cold weather affects a lot of things. And it could affect this Baltimore game. So I like a backdoor cover. One of those last minute, you think you go to the bathroom, Baltimore's up by 14, and you come back and Houston gets the cover.
Next thing you know, you're at a Greek restaurant. Let me go to Jimmy.
I'm Molo's. I'm in Molo's in Edgewater with you.
Jimmy, you like the dog here, right? You like the points plus 10?
Yes, I do. I love the dog. And the only thing that scares me
is moments here. You're freezing up on it.
I think my power in my area has been going in and out, and the last 2 days has been bad. I apologize. The only thing that scares me is when Uncle Tony Bruno starts pulling out the teaser stuff like he's been talking to Goldilocks. And that's the only bad voodoo that I have, that he wants to take the Texans on a 7-point teaser. Please, don't mess with that game. I think this is – if I have a dog of the weekend, first choice is Baker Mayfield. Second is C.J. Stroud to win outright.
Well, then you're agreeing that the Texans with the points and teasing them and getting a couple extra points is a good play.
Yes, but I'm also superstitious because we had a guy who used to be on the show, Goldilocks.
All right.
Anytime he teased the same side, I was in the clinker.
Right.
Well, you think I am the mush here? You're going to put me in the bathroom?
Tony's Mr. Monday Night.
Come on, man.
For years. Don't even question Tony's ability to pick an NFL game, one of the sharpest guys I know. But this is the way I see this game. The Texans have been playing some good football, but on the road, they're only 4-4 this year on the road. They haven't played a team with a winning record on the road except for the Ravens week 1, and they got blown out. They couldn't even score a touchdown. They kicked 3 field goals. And you look at this Ravens defense, they're ranked number 2 overall in opponent yards per play, number 1 in opponent yards per pass attempt, number 2 in sack percentage, number 2 in red zone defense. This ain't going to be easy. I know a lot of teams off the bye, they don't cover the spread. I mean, I think it was like 11 out of the last 22 covered the spread. But this is a Ravens team that they've blown out some of the best teams in the NFL this season. And the only time they've lost is when they had a bunch of cluster injuries on both sides of the ball. So this is a very dominant team. And like I said, away from NRG Stadium, The Texans are just 4-4 with a negative 15-point differential. I think this could be, maybe the only blowout of the weekend. But let's go to the next game. Let's go to 8-ball. 8-ball, you think the dog has any life here against San Francisco? I mean, the Packers blew out our Cowboys. Dak choked again, 2 interceptions in the first half. I was looking at the box score. Cowboys were down 27-7, but yet the Packers only had 2 more first downs in the first half and 60 more total yards. So was it as an impressive victory as the final score indicated? And do you think they can do some damage here against San Francisco as a 9.5-point underdog?
I like the favorite here again. We're looking at the Packers, and they're one of the most inexperienced teams in the league in terms of skill positions. They have the youngest skill position group in the league. They're one of the younger teams, so I'm not sure they're going to be ready for the physicality that the Niners bring. You've seen the stats. The Niners defense, the next week, the team who plays the Niners, most of the time they end up losing. They end up getting blown out because they're all injured and everything. So
let me go to Matt Maltepes from the college kid. Matt, who do you like in that matchup?
I like San Fran a lot. When I look at the Green Bay Packers, they're one of the worst teams in opponent yards per rush attempt this year. And San Fran, that's what they do. They run the ball. And then to win this game, they're going to have to force a turnover or two from Brock Purdy probably, right? They're going to make him throw an interception. They're one of the worst teams in opponent interceptions thrown per game as well. So I do not see them winning this game, and I do not see them covering. I like San Fran a lot this week.
Tony Bruno, who do you like in this matchup?
Talking to friends out there, really connected with the Niners. Damon Bruce, one of my friends, we were talking. He said they're going to run the ball 40 times. They're just going to run on this Green Bay defense. Green Bay ran all over Dallas, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Let's be honest, the 49ers have the path to the Super Bowl in the NFC. They got the Packers, and then they got the winner of the Bucs-Lions game. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, this will be just as big of a failure as the Dallas Cowboys, because the Eagles let them off the hook, put them in a position to win the division and get the home field, and they choked. The Niners not winning against Green Bay and the winner of the Lions-Buccaneers game, that would be a monumental failure for that team.
Wow, would it be the biggest letdown for this 49ers team in a while?
Absolutely.
All right. I want everyone watching and listening to check out UnderdogFantasy.com. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $100. Don't go nowhere, guys. We're going to be right back in our next segment. We're going to break down the final 2 games of the NFL playoffs. We'll be right back.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheOceanAC.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from TheEight8all.com. In our final segment, we got about 2.5 minutes left in this segment before we end this show. Let me go to 8-ball. 8-ball, Kansas City, Buffalo. Who are you on?
Give me Buffalo. I think this is a year they break the curse and they beat Mahomes in the playoffs.
Packers, San Fran. You like San Fran, right?
Yes, sir.
You like Baltimore?
Baltimore and Tampa Bay outright.
Wow. As a 7-point dog, you're taking Tampa Bay against that offense, top 5 offense, at home? Wow. Matt Maltepes from the college kids. What do you like in Tampa Bay, Detroit?
Tampa Bay, Detroit, that's tough. You're approaching 7. I do think if a team has a chance to win outright as a big dog out of the 3 big dogs, it has to be Tampa. But, when you're at 6.5, 7 number, you got to play it, by the number. If it goes to 7, you got to play Tampa Bay, in my opinion. But Detroit, as of right now, I haven't touched it.
All right. And how about the Buffalo game? You like Buffalo in that matchup?
No, I like KC plus the 3. KC plus the 3. All Mahomes has to do is take care of the ball. Buffalo's a little hurt. They have a good O-line, good D-line. And I think KC wins this as a dog.
So, Tony Bruno, you like Houston plus the points. You like San Fran in that matchup?
Yeah, San Francisco has to win this game. San Francisco, as I said earlier, has the path. They've got the road right to the Super Bowl. To me, I think the Bills also have a lot to prove. There's 3 teams, really. The Ravens, the 49ers, and the Bills have the most to prove. All 3 of those fan bases have been waiting. The Niners for a long time winning a Super Bowl. So Buffalo never has won, and the Ravens have a lot to prove. So those are the 3 teams to me that absolutely, positively must win, and I think they all will.
Danny B, we've got about 30 seconds left in this segment. Tampa Bay, Detroit, real quick. Who do you like?
I like Tampa Bay to cover. I don't know if they win outright, but I do like the plot by the +7. I like what I've seen in Mayfield throughout the last few games, especially last week. So I'm going to ride the Bucs in this one, plus the 7.
All right. I like Kansas City +3. I like Detroit. If you could tease them down to a pick 'em. I like the Packers plus the points and on the money line, baby. Upset. And I like the Baltimore Ravens there. And that's going to do it. That's going to end the show. I want to thank Tony Bruno for coming on, Danny B from DB Wins, all the animals. Thank you so much for coming on. We love you guys, and we'll be back next week. Good luck, guys.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at TheEight8all.com.
See, boys, anyone see Rooster? Let us know.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.